in my house.
What's that?
I said my birthday trip was canceled because of COVID in my house.
Oh, that sounds like it was your fiance's COVID, not your COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You see how language is so important, guys? Did you hear how she said that? She didn't say because of COVID. She said because of COVID in my house, as if it's not me.
Well, I must say I didn't have it, but he did. So
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
I never tested positive, but my wife swears that I gave it to her.
Yeah, stay out of that conversation. That's going
right. Exactly.
All right, guys. Good morning. How we doing?
Good morning, Bill.
Ready for a new year.
All right. So what I want to do today is kind of paint the picture for a vision for this year. Okay. Okay. So today is about the foundation. Okay, and we have a couple of different models for the foundation that I'll put out there, and then I want to go through one of them in particular in detail. Okay.
Call for Rachel. It's from 404-491-1725.
Sorry, this is like the moment where like kids' school start. This is a tough moment. Hang on, guys. Okay, Google, cancel. Okay, sorry, guys. All right. So the couple of models are as follows. Okay, the first is the foundational GPS. All right, many of you guys have heard me speak about this. The foundational GPS, all this stuff is in the resource list. It's also in the Google Drive, and I will post all of these that I'm discussing here in just a moment. Okay, so the foundational GPS really discusses a couple of really important ideas and preparations, basically. Okay. When you look at the GPS, it kind of separates it into a couple of different sections. And each one is really designed, it's almost like a project list, to be honest. It really reads like a project list. And it goes through the details of putting in your skills, your presentation, your calendaring, etc. Okay. So I'm going to bring that up for us here in just a moment, and we can look at it all together. Okay, another foundational piece for the business is the 4 models of the millionaire real estate agent. Okay.
To stop whatever you are doing and get in this car.
All right, guys, 2 seconds.
Sounds like my house a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. We're trying to take like 2 different rides to the testing place. What a mess today. I apologize.
Quite all right.
Okay. This is the foundational GPS right here. Okay. It basically says, I am committed to closing a certain number of units in, let's say, 2022, so that something can happen. Okay. So we can make a certain amount of money so that we can achieve some type of recognition, or so that we can help a certain number of families, or so that we can buy an investment property, whatever the whole goal of the business is, right? What is the whole point of the business? What do we need to sell in order to get there? Okay. And the precursor to this is the Life by Design page. Okay. The Life by Design page is essentially a a foundational piece that says, let's talk a little bit about my personal budget. Let's talk a little bit about my business budget. Let's merge the two. Let's make sure that all of our business expenses and cost of sale are recognized and put out there. Let's figure out how large those numbers need to be. And of course, we also talk about profit.
I'll sit down.
So what is the point of the business? The point of the business is profit. What is the point of profit? The point of profit is to do whatever you want to do with the profit, right? So that is, personal goals, family goals, financial goals, retirement, kids' education, hobbies, travel, whatever it is. Okay. This business is way too stressful to put up little numbers. Okay. And I don't mean, I'm probably going to ruffle some feathers right off the bat here, but gosh, if we're just going to make 30 grand, there's a lot less stressful ways to do it. Is that crazy talk? Okay. We got into this business for the power of helping a lot of families and the power of earning a high income to do so. Okay. And once we achieve that, then we get everything else that resembles the life by design, right? Freedom, flexibility, control over your calendar, all that stuff. None of that happens unless we make some money. Okay, make sense? You with me? Okay, so this particular foundational piece separates it into 4 categories. It's basically a 1, 4, 5. It's actually more like a 1, 4, 10. But here he goes: pipeline creation and appointment holding. Okay, guys, if you don't have any clients, there's nothing else to do. Right? There's no negotiating. There's no need to know contracts. There's definitely no need to have smart plans, right? There's no need for any of that stuff. You need prospects. And the only way you're going to get prospects is by finding them. Okay. You're going to either use your time to find them or your money to find them, or a combination of the two. Okay. Now, the foundational pieces for that topic, in my opinion, are the primary 3 lead generation strategies that you pick for your business because you want to do them, right? If you don't want to cold call people, then don't do it right away, right? Go find a different strategy to find customers. And if the strategy is getting you enough customers, don't cold call anyone, right? But if the strategy is not getting you enough customers, then you got to grow your world, which means you're probably going to have to go meet some strangers. Everyone follow that? With me? Okay. Now, what that ultimately means, like I was speaking to somebody yesterday who had a 2,000 person database. We don't need to be talking about finding new people. We need to be talking about deepening those relationships. Does that make sense? I don't care if she adds a single person to her database all year, because there's 200 sales in that database. You just have to develop the relationships. Okay.
Ben, are you on Zoom?
Okay. So we need to identify what are the 3 lead generation strategies. Okay. And we need to know how we're being successful with each of the 3, right? So that's where the GPS comes in. That's where the GPS comes into.
Call for Rachel. It's from Rachel Bodenstein Linkle.
Okay. An example of that is I will hold 3 open houses a month. I will speak to 20 people each day, right? We have a success metric in place for each of those lead generation strategies. Okay. And there's several GPS examples and videos explaining how to do all of that stuff in the PC resource list, and plenty of videos in the YouTube on that. If anyone is trying to figure out whether their GPS is good or needs improvement, or you want feedback, or you just want somebody to look at yours personally, send it over. I'll take a good look at it and give you some feedback. And the version I send you back will be better or more specific or more clear than the version you send me. Okay. Every time we give each other feedback, it'll help you. So don't be afraid to share it over. Okay. One of the biggest numbers that you can know, actually the biggest number that you can know in your business right now, is how many listings do I need to take each month in order for me to be on task? Okay. That's really the only number that matters. It doesn't really matter how many appointments you set or how many people say that they're going to work with you at some point in the future. It doesn't particularly matter how many you even hold. What the taken listings is the most important thing. Okay. Now, what we've said before, and we have a model for this, of course, is the how to net $100,000. Okay. In our market, selling $350,000 homes, you will net $100,000, okay, by selling one home each month. One $10,500 commission check. You pay all your fees, you pay all your splits, PC, the whole deal, and you will net $100,000. Okay, we do that by the following model, the 4-3-2-1 model. Okay, you set 4 appointments, you hold 3, you take 2, and you close 1. Set 4, hold 3, take 2, close 1. If you follow that plan, you should be at 100 grand. Okay, so as long as you're selling $350,000 houses, average. Okay, so the couple details on this particular thing are making sure you're clear on how you're going to get the appointments, how many you need, and then having a system for monitoring your hottest prospects, which is the pipeline. Okay, remember we suggest 3 times the number of families that you want to help each year. That should be the ongoing size of your pipeline. If you want to help 12 people, you need 36 people on a list of people that you think are going to buy or sell in 2022. Okay, because they're all not going to do what they say they're going to do. And 75% of them are going to change their time frame. Oh, I want to buy in September becomes I want to buy in March, or I want to buy in March becomes I want to buy in September, right? And you got to keep all that stuff straight. Okay, so this document suggests a calendaring system, right? And complete clarity on a visual pipeline with rankings, so you know who's hot and who's less hot. Does that make sense? Okay. Second foundational piece is a skill and presentation development. At all times, you should be ready to conduct a buyer presentation or a listing presentation on short notice. Okay. You should understand exactly how to present to the sellers, how to do the pre-work, pre-listing package, questioning and pre-qualification, all that kind of stuff, the actual appointment and the follow-up. Same thing for buyers. If you don't have that in place, guys, and I just don't know what else to say. Like, you're a real estate agent. Eventually, you're going to get a buyer to meet with or a seller to meet with. If you're sitting here today and saying, I'm not sure how I would conduct or prepare for those meetings, that's the only thing we should be talking about. Does that make sense? Okay. Mission statement and unique value statement, right? Why would somebody work with you, Michael? I mean, I could go hire Markia, right? What's so special about you? My digital marketing strategy will be in place. Do I have a social media presence, right? Is it appropriate, right? Again, you've heard me say this 1,000 times. You could say or do whatever you want online, but don't be surprised if people don't want to work with you if you're controversial. So just understand, whatever you post, you're a public figure now. Okay. So I'm not trying to tell you can't say stuff. I'm just telling you the world is free to respond to the things you are choosing to say. Make sense? Okay. And then it's all about intentionality, right? Am I intentionally working through several skills? Am I intentionally practicing my scripts and role playing? Do I have an accountability partner? Am I practicing my presentations, right? Okay, next is actually Okay. Thank you very much, guys, for being flexible today.
No worries.
Okay. The third foundational piece is database and tech. Okay. There are two big metrics that you should be keeping in mind with respect to your database and pipeline. We just talked about the pipeline. Ideally, we have a minimum of 3 times the number of sales you want to have. You want to have 12 sales a year. That's 36 people in the pipeline at all times. Okay, the pipeline, remember, is a living document. People are going to be coming off that thing and on that thing all day long. Okay, and our job is to keep it all straight. And you're saying, well, what happens if I'm out and about and I'm there and I'm here and I'm here? Your job is to keep it straight. You're the realtor, you're the realtor's assistant, and you got all the other jobs too, right? So that's you probably have to have some form of, daily journal or a scratch sheet of paper that you've got with you at all times, or a great way of recording down all the things that you've got to do. Because every time that we make a mistake or let something slip through the cracks, it can truly be devastating, right? It could cost you tens of thousands of dollars, right? So take your time, write it down. At the end of gosh, I probably I every day I have like so many scratch sheets of paper, and at the end of the day, I just got to get it into a place where it can be recorded forever. That's just part of our job, right? Okay, so the database goal is 16 times the number of sales that you want to have each year. Should be the size of your database. So for a 12-unit person, we're talking about a database of right about 250. Okay, if you don't have 250 Mets local in your database right now, there's virtually nothing else more important than building your database. If you have to talk to strangers to do it, there you go. You can talk to strangers a number of different ways. You can poke them on social media. You can meet them at open houses. You can door knock. You can cold call. You can go to networking events. You can go business to business, but you got to meet them, right? You might be saying to yourself, maybe none of you, but maybe somebody that's watching this later, well, I come from a different part of the country, or I don't have a lot of people here. How many more days and weeks are you going to use that excuse? You are trying to build a business here now. So that's what you have to do. Make sense? I'm trying to be as polite and clear as possible. There no more excuses about coming from a different part of the country. You're here and this is what you've chosen to do. Make sense? Okay. I'm going to ask for some feedback here in just a moment, okay? All right. Database growth is, are we going to, oh, by the way, the person that had 2,000 people in their database, we have a single goal for the first quarter, which talk to every one of them. That's the goal. We're not complicating it. No smart plans yet. None of that. We're just talking to every single one of them. Make sense? Because the stats say there's 200 sales in there. 10% of your database will be moving this year. If you say my database is 300 and you can't identify the 30 that are moving, somebody else is going to get paid when they move. Okay, your job is to figure out who they are and help them and answer all their questions and guide them and make sure they're not making decisions based on misinformation. Okay. Are you writing handwritten notes? Are you tagging people properly? Identifying people in different groups on Facebook or on Command, etc. Okay. And then when I presented this foundational GPS last year, one of the agents pulled me aside and says, "Hey, where's all the personal stuff?" And I said, "Great point." And so we added success outside the business. Okay. Success outside the business is when I achieve my business plan, I will reward myself by, right? I don't want you to be thinking about, I need to go and talk to 20 people because my coach told me to. I want you to say, my coach told me that if I talk to 20 people, I will earn X and therefore I will buy this, or I will have this, or I will become this. And that's the meaningful part, right? So try to connect all these goals to something that is emotional, right? That keeps you going when you have a tough day or when it's raining outside and these kind of things, right? So this just points on learning, family, sharing my goals, primary health goals, The person who handles my business when I'm away is, that's a big one. As soon as I realized that Pam could take care of my business, I started letting her take care of my business more. Does that make sense? So do you have a buddy in the office that if you were to go get sick or travel or whatever, could log into your thing and just make it happen? Right? Maybe that's your accountability partner, so that you get a chance to have a life worth living and they get a chance to have a life worth living. Make sense? Okay. And then we've talked about having mentors in the areas of the seven circles by the Gary Keller's One Thing: spiritual, physical, personal, key relationships, jobs, business, financial. You know, what do you? I will in just a moment. Okay. The link I tried. The link is supposed to open. Okay. Do you come sit on my lap for a second? You can be on this soon. Okay. You'll learn a lot here. Trust me. Okay. That's the link. I'll be there in just a moment because that's the link. It should open. Okay. Well, I'm doing a class right now. This is like school. I understand. I'll be there in just a moment. Okay. I'm doing the best I can. Okay. So that's one foundational model. Does anyone have any questions on this one?
My only question is, where do I find this document on the
It is called Final Foundational GPS. I'm downloading it and I will add it to the chat here momentarily. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. The next model I want to chat with you about very briefly is the 15th of the month protocol. Does anyone know what that is?
Yep.
What is it, Michael?
It's when you've got a certain number of houses or deals you want to do in a month, and come the 15th, you realize that you're not halfway through your goal. You need to change your plan, and you need to start doing things differently so you can hopefully hit the goal by the end of the month.
Beautiful. Can you think of an example of what that might look like?
It might be more calling. It might be doubling up the number of doors you knock on. It could be, anything like that, I guess.
Yep. Okay. Does anyone remember the bold rule? You can have reasons or results, but you can't have both. Or actually, I don't think it has that second part. You can have reasons or results. Everyone remember that line?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did anyone hit their goal in December?
No.
Why not? Almost none of you have reported your numbers, by the way. And everyone in the world is asking me for their final numbers for December. Please don't make me ask you for numbers in 2022. Please, please. Okay. That's exactly what it is. I don't see a single person in the group that hit their goals for the month of December. Why? Well, it's the holidays, blah, 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 blah. You knew the holidays were coming, right? So let's talk about how we're gonna make it happen, not why it's not happening. Make sense? So if you're halfway through the month, there is a program that I put out. It's called the the Final 15th protocol. And what this document does, I'm going to pull it up too, is it basically says that if you are halfway through your goals, if you are on goal, on track by the 15th of the month, just keep running the plan, right? We know the plan works. If you are not on track, then you basically have two choices. Does anyone want to guess what those two choices are? You can either change the plan. Say that again.
I was just gonna say, you can change the plan or you can change your goal.
Beautiful, beautiful. By the way, y'all know that's Ashley Goodrich, who's been in the business 1 year and is already on the ALC. Congratulations. It's a big deal.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job. Real proud of you. You deserve every bit of it.
Thank you.
Okay. You can either change the plan or you can change the goal. Okay. So if you change the goal, you're like, 4 listings taken in a month, 2 will be okay. And then you live a life that is, let's just say, less than a life by design. Probably half of a life by design, actually. Right? Or you change the plan. Right? So the purpose of the final or the 15th of the month protocol is you identify a predetermined list of activities to be completed in the event that an agent is not meeting their goals midway through the month. Right? So if let's say I'm your football coach and we spend all week preparing for our opponent on Sunday, right? We know when they're going to run, we know when they're going to pass, etc. Right? And then we get out there to run our play and we're getting clobbered. And halftime comes and it's 20-0. And I come in there, I'm like, all right, guys, just, that run defense is not working, but just keep at it. Okay. Right. That passing strategy that we elected to, that we practice isn't working, but just keep trying. Maybe it'll change. Right. Is that, would you be happy with your coach? Right. You'd look to the guy next to us and say, I think the coach is nuts here. Right. Strategy's not working. Let's pick a different strategy. Right. Or let's double down. So this is doubling down. So a couple of examples are adding time to lead generation, right? Scheduling lunch with a vendor, sending 50 texts to your database, recording a market update video and posting it to social media, right? Do a weekday open house, doubling the amount of times you and your accountability partner speak, record a presentation and have your accountability partner review it, right? Contact 20 FISBOs, contract 20 expireds, write some handwritten notes, drop off some short CMAs, right? Add a nighttime lead generation strategy. You can either have reasons or results. Got it? This goes even a little farther and says, if you're not 75% of the way to your goal by the 21st, then you must complete another set of tasks. This is the next play, by the way, right? If you're behind in your goal by the 21st of the month, are you willing to do a bold 100 every day until your appointments are held? The people who walk the stage are. Make sense? They're more committed to their life by design than they are to whatever is distracting them. Does that make sense? Would you be willing to add 2 nighttime lead generation sessions to your business a week? 3? 4? How committed are you? Right? So I'm not trying to come off harsh this morning. This is a great time to kind of look at the relationship between your activities in the previous year and the results you got. And if you're not living a life by design, then let's do something about it together. Does that make sense?
Sure does.
Yes.
Okay. When we, so obviously I've taken a lot of classes on career visioning and hiring and these kind of things. And one of the things that Gene Rivers taught me is he said, if I bring somebody on, it's very, very clear whether they're winning or not. I want them to nail the following 20% tasks. And I don't care if they completely mess up the other 80%. I just want them to nail the 20. If they're nailing the 20, we'll find somebody else to deal with their 80, right? I just need somebody to nail the 20. And he says, if you're not nailing the 20, then we increase the amount of frequency that we expect accountability, right? So if it's like, hey, I need you to set 3 appointments this week, and the whole week goes by and you don't set any. Say, okay, well, I guess we can't talk once a week. We need to talk every other day. So I need you to set 1 appointment every other day. And every 2 days go by, you hadn't set the appointment. Okay, well, every 2 days isn't working. We need to talk every day. You don't hit your goal in the day. I guess daily accountability isn't working. Maybe we need hourly accountability. What would you do if I said, I want you to send me a text every hour on the hour telling me what you've done to grow your real estate business this hour? Do you think you'd have better results? So ask yourself, what do I need to stay on course? And then find somebody who needs something similar and partner up maybe. So if Michael says, hey, I mean, I've told you guys this story 100 times. When I was TL, I used to work with a woman, Andrea, who runs the South Forsyth office. And every day at the end of the day, we text each other, how many people did you meet with and how many people did you hire? And she's good. She's really good. And I knew those numbers were going to be good every day. And so all day I'm like, I'm not texting Andrea that I didn't meet with anyone today. I better stop clowning around. And I didn't do a lot of clowning around, but you see what I'm saying? It's like, I guess I'll eat lunch while I'm on the phone today because I'm not going to let this woman beat me. I'm pretty competitive. She's pretty competitive and she was really good. And we both did really well as a result. Does that make sense? Okay. If you're looking at this document and you're saying, oh my gosh, that sounds like a lot of work. It is. Okay. That makes sense? All right, what questions do we have today? I feel like I've been more lecturing than anything. How are you guys receiving all this information?
For me, it's a good reminder of everything I need to just get focused on again for this year. I'm loving it.
Perfect. I love that. There was so much people talking at one time. That was just amazing. So tell me, what else?
Hi, Bill. First, thank you for this call. Your calls are always encouraging, and you're not hurting my feelings. It's what I need to hear. You're blunt. You're very forthcoming. So it's helpful to me, everything that you say. So thank you. And I'm focused. Focus is the main thing. Focus. Stay focused and stay on top of it. So that's my goal.
Beautiful. So now the question really becomes, right? How do we know you're doing that, right? How do we know you're on track? So how frequently are you going to check back in with your goals, right? I mean, my goals are right here. Look at them every day. I look at them 100 times a day because I can look all day at this thing and there ain't a single thing on here about Facebook scrolling. Okay. So I know exactly what I'm supposed to be working on. And thank you for smiling, Lorinda. That made me feel real good. All right, I'm going to pause for 30 more seconds. Apparently there's a change in Zoom room links for my kids' school. Can you guys give me 30 seconds and then I will come back and we'll do a few more minutes. All right. You got to be flexible, keep smiling, don't let it get you down, right? Because we can either have reasons or we can have results. So I appreciate you hanging out with me for a few more minutes. Okay, who else wants to share how they received the information this morning?
I'll share, Bill.
Okay.
I think the information was great about being intentional. I definitely, throughout the break, have been very intentional about growing my business, especially with going full time and just, receiving the information and not just hearing it, but putting it into action. And it's actually working. And I have like 5 appointments set for this week. So I'm excited yeah, I do. So it's
Fantastic.
I am very excited for
Wow.
this year.
Thank you so much for letting me witness this whole journey of yours, Markia. This is so cool.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, who else?
I have a question,
Yeah.
Bill. So we've got this form, and then there's the GPS that's like with your strategies, and then there's the 411. Like, what's the order you should be doing all these in? Is
Great
this like
question.
the final thing, or is this I just want to make sure I'm not missing something, because it
Great
seems like
question.
there's a lot of plans in the works here.
Yeah, the truth is that all of these plans are just tools to help you manage your time, right? So if you have figured out how to manage your time by doing the tasks that need to get done and you're getting the results, I'm not going to tell you that you need to scrap the way you're doing it and doing it this way. So the most important thing is that you're getting the results you want. These are just a series of tools to help you understand what allotment of time all this stuff needs. Okay. So if you came to me and said, I don't have any plans, you just make them for me. What I would suggest is the very first thing you need to do is the Life by Design form. Okay. And get very clear about your personal life, your personal expenses and requirements, your business expenses and requirements, and your dreams, right? What is the point of the profit? What are we going to do with the money that we profit, right? Are we saving it? Are we investing it? Are we putting it back into our business? Are we putting it into our family? Do we have family goals, personal goals, house renovations, investment properties? What do we want to do with it? Right? Because if we don't know what we want to do with it, then we're probably not going to put ourselves through the stress of earning it. That's a good one. Write that one down. Okay. So
you had mentioned a Life by Design also. Is that a form? Is there?
Yeah. So if you go to we have a systems document. If you do not have a personalized systems document, I want you to send me a message today with how much money you would like to make, and I will get it started for you and share it with you independently. And that has a interactive Life by Design page. By the way, I've been offering that for about 3 months. Okay. So please read your emails. Okay. I've been offering that for a long, long time and talking about it for a long, long time. Okay. So when you have that document, it identifies how you're going to spend the profit, the financial requirements that your family needs to pull off all the stuff that your family's got to do, right? The mortgage, the rent, the schooling, the entertainment, lifestyle, vacations, whatever. Okay, and also your business cost of sale and your business expenses. It's kind of mimics the MRA economic model. Okay. The very next thing, so the output of that, Ryan. So first step is Life by Design. The output of Life by Design is basically how many sales you need. Then we go to the economic model. That's also on the systems document. Remember, everything in yellow is editable. Everything in white and black is where the formulas are. Leave that alone. Okay. So whenever I say, well, how much do you want to make? And you say 100, great. That'll get you 100. The problem is we don't know if 100 is enough, right, to achieve your Life by Design. And it might be too much, right? So the whole point of the economic model, I'm sorry, the whole point of the Life by Design form is to double check the economic model. Yeah, okay. It's to double check your kind of educated guess on the income that you need. Okay. Now, once we put that number in, let's say we want to help 12 families. So this is the economic model. We want to put up 12 families. The output of that model is how many appointments you need on a monthly or annual basis. Okay. The next model that we go to is the lead generation model. Okay. Now we're starting to merge into the GPS too. So the question really is, I need 35 appointments. Where are all those people going to come from? And you identify the 3 types of lead generation that you want to push hard on, get real good at, right? Let's say expired listings is one of them. You know every script backward and forward. You practice it every single day. You've got a system of how you're tracking people, what you're saying to people. I mean, you've got it nailed. Okay. Same thing with open houses or Facebook ads or LinkedIn work or, social media. Remember, if whatever you're doing on social media is not creating interactions and appointments, you ain't doing it right. You think you're working, but it ain't doing much. Okay. Interactions and appointments. Make sense? Okay. So now we have the lead generation model. And this is basically, I'd say for a newer agent, that could be your GPS. So your GPS would say, I'm going to sell 12 homes. I'm going to do it by these 3 strategies, right? Let's say open houses, growing my database, and nurturing my sphere of influence. Something like that, right? So I'm going to grow my database through a series of lead generation strategies that might be, networking or going to, neighborhood functions or volunteer functions, these kind of things. I'm going to meet strangers every weekend by committing to open houses. And I'm going to have a 36 touch plan to work my database. And therefore, I'm going to spit out 35 appointments or whatever the number is. Make sense? Then we take it and we form a 411. So this is my 411, and I have it separated into job, business, financial, and personal. Okay. And then this is not necessarily part of the 411 technically, but I keep it on this list so it's all on one page, which is I have a list of things that I want to speak to Corey about, a list of things that I want to speak to Candace about, my goals. These are my high value conversations. These are the 6 people that I want to speak to this week. If I were to speak to these 6 people this week, I'm basically fine. These are super high value conversations. Okay. And my projects. Got a lot of projects. So I look at that list, I scan it and say, is anything big, important enough to work on this week? And I pick something that I'm going to do. Okay. Some of these projects have been on here a long time. That's okay. I just keep finding stuff that's more important. But the takeaway is that I acknowledge it and I give it time so that I can just determine what's most important and push hard on that. Okay. What this does is it breaks down the annual or monthly goal, Ryan, into something that is weekly, right? So if I want to set 4 appointments a month, my GPS would have told me that. This is essentially my daily tracker. It's, am I doing it? Is my goal straight there, right there in front of me? So this is the 4-in-1. And then the final thing is if all this stuff's got to get done, it's got to get done by use of my calendar. So how long will it take me to do that? Right? If I've got, commitments with my church or my kids or, my spouse or some other job or whatever, get that stuff on the calendar and then look at the rest of your time and say, am I ready to be dual career? Or is my other career not working my first job? Right? And I got to be honest with you, that might be okay, right? Working 2 careers is hard. So sometimes people come home and they say, well, gosh, I'm ready to watch some TV and relax. Okay. But you're not being dual career. right? A dual career person would come home and they'd relax for a few minutes and they go to their other career. And it's not easy, but neither is having a life by design. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I got to be honest with you. I'm trying to set up a little bit more of a home office right now. Like I was up till 1 o'clock in the morning looking over 15 years of training materials. I know that sounds kind of boring, but success is kind of boring. Does that make sense? Okay. Ryan, does that answer your question?
Yes, but where does this final one come in? At the very end?
The final 15th of the month protocol?
No, the one that you just went over, the final foundational GPS.
Oh, so that is kind of like, I mean, that's mostly projects, right? So that's like, if I'm going to go list homes and if I'm going to go help buyers, then I need to do a bunch of prep work. So that's like, there's virtually nothing on there that you have to do over and over again. It's all like, it's almost like a checklist of, am I prepared to go on a buyer presentation? Am I prepared to, is my social media like ready to roll, right? So like getting the foundation laid is where that document comes in. And then the documents that we just described are more the like repetitive actions, right? So your plan might say go on 4 buyer appointments a month, but you can't even work the plan until you've worked the foundation. So this is like kind of step 2, if you will. Okay. Now I know, like, you know, oh, let me not put that into your brain. Anyone else have any comments on that? Thoughts, goals, comments? Are you inspired?
I'm ready to roll.
Okay. So
Definitely.
I'm going to ask you to make a couple commitments this year. Okay. Nice and simple. I want you to be more committed to your dreams than your excuses. And I'm not telling you that your excuses are not valid. Okay. I get it. Maybe I don't get it, but I'm hearing you loud and clear. So I'm here to offer you all of the grace that you deserve. But you're the one that gets to decide whether you're going to be more committed to your dreams or to your reasons or your excuses. Okay. And if you're not, if you ask yourself, am I living a life by design as of this moment? If the answer is not yes, then prove to me and prove it to yourself that that is on the top of your list. Does that make sense? If I were to follow you around all day today, would I know that you're a real estate agent committed to your goal? Or would I be like, this person just doesn't appear to be committed to their goal. They keep getting distracted. They keep, hanging out with people that are not supportive of their goals, or, even worse, dragging them down, right? We don't create our future, remember? We create our habits, and our habits create our future. So if you've got habits that mirror those of 6-figure earners, you'll probably make 6 figures. If you've got habits of people that do not have that type of income or have that type of lifestyle that you desire, you're probably not going to get there either. Not with those habits. Does it make sense? I mean, have you ever seen a person that's like 400 pounds hanging out with a bunch of, CrossFit people? They don't hang out. Does that make sense? In your current environment, you have to ask yourself, is being a business owner, entrepreneur, salesperson, you know, am I likely to be successful at that in my current environment? If not, find a different environment, at least for a few hours every day. Make sense? Okay, so I want you to be more committed to your dreams than your excuses. And I want you to take stock of your results. Let's focus on the results. If you earn a 0, put a 0 up there. Okay. Make sense? Okay, if you do not have the systems page, I want you to message me today and I will make sure that you have it. Okay. And go back, and I don't know if I'm going to get
again,
to,
Bill, if we don't have what?
there's a specific systems document. It's a Google Drive, shared Google Drive. It's got like 20 or something tabs at the bottom, and it has pretty much all the documents we've been discussing today on there and how they all kind of work together and merge. So if you do not know what I'm talking about or have it, send me a message today and I'll get it to you. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to get to the weekly email today, but if you go back to the email I sent last week, it has very easy to find short links for you, the YouTube page, the Google Drive, the resource page, Candace's link, my links, etc. By the way, on Thursday and Friday of this week, I will be at a 2-day, all-day training, and Candace will be running the Zooms. I'll talk with her, but I think they're still going to be in this room. I'll let you know about that. That's Thursday and Friday, and we're going to do role play. Pam's going to be on here too, just helping with you know, suggestions and advice and critiquing and that kind of stuff. So I just want to remind you, look, our job as a brokerage, very simple. What is it that you want, Michael? Why is it that you want it? Here's the plan. Let me hold you accountable. Very simple. So the amount of accountability that you allow into your world, it's only for the good, right? My coach told me this. I have a guy. Oh my gosh, it's so interesting being coached by a trainer when you don't really want to be trained. I get it. I experience it every single week. Okay. He says everything, when it feels good, it's probably not good for you. When it feels bad, that's when you're making a difference, right? If you're like, oh my gosh, I got more calls to make. Yeah. The more calls you make, the more success you'll have, right? Oh, well, this one really hurts. Come on now. That can't hurt me. Come on, just lift it again. You see what I'm saying? He pushes me. All right. I want to push you, but I don't want you to quit on me now. So if you're not on track, let us know how I can help you, give you the grace you need. Okay. But if it's got nothing to do with a sickness or an emergency or something like that, and it's just a lack of performance, let's talk immediately so we can get you back on track and you can manage your time better. Okay. All right, you guys.
Bill,
Yes, ma'am. It's great to see you back, Ebony.
I'm glad to be back. I just wanted to start off by saying Happy New Year to everyone. Haven't seen most of you in probably about 2 months. But what I've noticed is that every time I join and I have my ups and downs, everything that you're saying, Bill, it hits differently the second and sometimes the third time around. So whereas I feel like the information that you're giving me, it's being saturated into my brain and I'm taking it onto, you know, just the next level with it. So I appreciate it. Like sometimes I may be silent, but I get it. I hear you and I understand. So thank you.
It's wonderful to have you back. Thank you for sharing that. And I saw a couple heads nodding. By the way, I appreciate a lot of you being on video today. That's awesome. Thank you. And guys, that's we're all experiencing the same thing, right? So let's help each other out, right? And that's why we record all this stuff, so you can go back and listen to it 100 times if you need to. And that's also why we talk about going to Bold multiple times and going to a listing class. It's like, are you going to go to the listing class, you know, next week? Well, I already went to a listing class. What are you talking about? There's a top performer that's showing you how to do a listing. Why in the world would you not be there? I've done hundreds of listings. I'm going to be there. I'll probably hear something I've never heard. You see what I'm saying? Okay. And then one last idea, and then I'll leave you, which is there's been no change. Oh, one last thing. if you're looking at that foundational GPS and you say to yourself, I don't have some of this stuff done, then you need to put project time on your calendar and respect it. Okay. Maybe an hour a day to work on the foundation of projects, building the pre-listing package, you know, compiling the scripts, reading through them. I know doesn't feel fun. Okay. But it'll be fun to use that stuff to get some signatures too. Okay. So if you need projects done, put some project time on your calendar. Okay. And remember, there's two things we do every single day. Those have not changed, even for part-time people or dual career people. Every day we are committed to learning, and every day we're committed to speaking to people. I don't care if you've got 5 minutes a day for real estate.
Zoom is off. It
Okay.
turned off itself.
It's okay. We're going to leave in 2 seconds anyway. Can you put on your shoes, please?
No, I need a Zoom.
I'll put it on my phone when we're on the way to the place. Okay.
I need
So
a
half the day,
Zoom.
however much you have, is learning. The other half is meeting people. Okay. Don't let the head hit the pillow a single night without being smarter and without knowing more people. Make sense? Want to say hi?
Mm,
All right.
Get the Zoom back.
Y'all have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bill.
Bill.